In 2017, I was lost. I didn't know what to do with my life. All my friends knew what they wanted to become, but I was too busy playing video games all day. There was a moment in my life when everything changed. That moment was when my young brother died. Every day at school was a nightmare. I couldn't concentrate, finish all the assignments on time. I didn't know how to ask for help. After months of desperation and isolation, I took the best decision I've ever taken. I wanted to travel, to see other cultures and realities, to feel alive, to get over my brother's death, and ultimately to find myself. I selected different countries from Europe. That would be my first time out of my country. I am from Austria. I remember I had a neighbor who was from Barcelona. He was in love with his country. He was a lover of modernism. He always showed me different pictures of Sagrada Familia and Casa Batlló. Promise me you'll go to Sagrada Familia. Maybe it won't be finished by the time you go. However, you'll understand why I'm telling you this. In Barcelona, there are a lot of people playing music in the street, just like in Austria. I'm sure you'll love it. I paid heed to my old friend. In Barcelona, I did all those things he'd once told me about. I realized everything was as amazing as he told me. But there were some things that caught my eye. There were a group of men and women in the bar. All of them were in a power wheelchair. They invited me to join them for a training session. There, I saw that there's no difference between hockey on a power wheelchair and conventional hockey. After all, you're watching a sport match. Cohesion, team spirit, hard work, competitiveness, all of them are group values. I saw that the same team is a great family. The day I went to see them, they welcomed me as if they had known me for my whole life. There was a part of them that wanted to show me and also justify why hockey is important for them. It's more than a competition. It's about doing something you love, which makes you feel useful, alive, competent, and in contact with real life. They can play hockey, they can work, they can decide what they want to do in their daily life. Maybe it's because they do not have the chance to express themselves and society takes the liberty to decide for them. After this great experience, I continued my trip to Portugal. One of the team's players was from Lisbon, and he explained that one of his nieces worked in a school there. Laura was her name. She was an occupational therapist. That was the first time I heard about this profession. And she worked in a primary school, organizing workshops about inclusion and social awareness in the classroom. I found curious the way she had to teach them. It was not the most conventional way to do a class. She always said, "You can only learn by doing." What is the aim of explaining to children what is inclusion in a theoretical way if they do not know how to apply it? Or do not know how to identify situations that prevent the participation of people with functional diversity in the environment. Children teach us many things without them wanting it. I was present in many of our classes. The first day, kids received me with great enthusiasm. I honestly did not understand what they were saying at all, but that was not the point. Laura worked through the activity to make them think and to do so critically. She used multi-stage games through the role-playing phase. The objective was to reflect on the impact of having a physical, sensory, cognitive or emotional limitation in everyday activities through making them experience it themselves. After spending some fantastic days in Lisbon and visiting the city, Laura explained to me that years ago she had the opportunity to travel to Armenia with one of her teachers. That was when she decided to become an occupational therapist. Tom, if you want to leave what I saw firsthand, travel to Yerevan. Armenia is a small country. If somebody had asked me where Armenia was before, I wouldn't have known what to say. I felt very ignorant. Laura gave me the phone number of an occupational therapist from Yerevan. He worked with children as well, but in a special school. There, I was able to see many children with cerebral palsy, speaking disorders. Most of them had physical disabilities or autism. However, not all of them. Some of the students were living in that school due to their difficult relationship with their parents. Adam was a 25-year-old guy who had worked there for 5 years. One of the main difficulties he found in his daily practice was to make children express their emotion. Students should pick up a little paper in which there was an emotion written. They had to think about a moment in their daily life when they feel like that, and then perform it. Adam took pictures of all the students performing those emotions. They built a frame in which they placed those photos. For the kids, that meant a big change. They usually have difficulties to express their emotions or to adequate them in the context they're living. Watching yourself in a photo usually helps you to see that you can do something. After spending more than 2 months in Yerevan, I decided to move to Georgia. It was a sunny day in Tbilisi. Walking down the street, I heard some strange music. It was coming from a park. What a surprise when I saw some people dancing. It seemed a kind of flash mob which everybody could participate in. This reminded me of what I saw in Portugal and Armenia. Even though everybody looked different, they were all making the same movements. They moved harmoniously until they were all one. I asked some girls who were recording the dance what they were doing. They told me they were occupational therapy students and that they were carrying out a project to promote their profession within Georgia. Specifically, the flash mob was carried out in collaboration with different entities of activism in the area of mental health and geriatrics. After being through all those experiences, I stopped and felt my body, my mind. I missed home. I felt as if I'd run away from everything. In that instant, I realized that I didn't have anyone in my life with whom I could share everything I'd lived through. I met many people in those 7 months. I saw many difficult and unfair situations which I had never imagined. What can I do with my life? I asked myself. I need to do something with all those experiences. I guess now I know what I want to do, what is meaningful for me. I want to be an occupational therapist, just like Laura, Adam, and those students.
Sempre a l'ombra del qui diu que val. M'heu fet perdre els ulls quan pretenia veure-hi clar. Si em poseu barreres jo les trencaré volant. Soc de fer-me entendre amb les mans. Jo sóc com tu, i no m'assemblo a ningú. Jo sóc com tu, i no m'assemblo a ningú. Heu jutjat a cegues perquè encara no sabeu com sóc. He volgut ser llum però si m'imagineu meu fos. Mira com ressona la covardia del món. Ens veuen capaços de tot. Jo sóc com tu, però no m'assemblo a ningú. Jo sóc
la llei de la dependència retallada en un any. I a ningú se li fa estrany ja que ens deixin sols mirant de lluny la vida. Si ens empenyen cap a l'ombra, anirem més forts cap a la llum. I anirem sota un sol crit, de nou i junts.
Jo sóc com tu, com tu.